The plant is wedged onto the ocean side of the Point Loma Peninsula. Supervisor David Huntemer says the facility processes roughly 180 million gallons of sewage a day.
From the time it comes into the plant all the way to the ocean, the liquid portion, the water portion, is never pumped.
It's gravity fed.
It's all gravity, and what a wonderful, wonderful design.
The plant is the heart of the region's sewage system, but it started out small when it opened in 1963.
It had 6 sedimentation tanks. It had a small grit building down there, and that was about it.
The facility now serves 2.2 million people in 16 municipalities. Sewage is treated here, then discharged into the ocean through a 4-mile-long underwater pipe. Over the years, improvements at the plant have used up every bit of available space.
We've added more digesters. We've added the biosolids holding tank. We've added several more sedimentation basins. We're adding a new grit system, so we're constantly doing that. And we're also fine-tuning our process.
But even with all the improvements, the facility falls short of clean water standards that every other sewage plant in the United States meets. Ann Sasaki is an assistant director in the city's public utilities department.
It is the only plant in the United States that doesn't meet secondary standards. However, I want to make it clear that the city of San Diego and this Point Loma plant are meeting all regulations of the Clean Water Act.
That's because EPA waivers allow the San Diego plant to operate under special rules. Clean Water Act rules require treated effluent to meet 3 benchmarks. Sasaki says San Diego's effluent meets pH requirements.
We're very close to meeting secondary standards for total suspended solids, but we don't meet the BOD standards.
BOD is biochemical oxygen demand. San Diego's problem has always been that there's no room at Point Loma to build the multi-billion-dollar aeration ponds that would replace oxygen that treatment takes out. But city officials have long argued the standard shouldn't apply here.
When the Clean Water Act was written, it was written as a one-size-fits-all. So for treatment plants that discharge to rivers or streams or inland bays, they have the same requirements. And in reality, sometimes the one-size-fits-all it doesn't work.
Sasaki says years of mandated monitoring by the Scripps Institution of Oceanography prove that there is no harm to the environment. And the whole idea of monitoring the marine environment is to make sure that the plant and the effluent it discharges into the ocean doesn't do any damage to this area. But spending billions to put oxygen into treated sewage that'll be dumped into the ocean was always a tough sell for San Diego officials. So the city is taking another approach. The city, business groups, and environmentalists got together and decided to pour the money into water recycling. San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer says the drought puts things into perspective.
The right thing to do from a water independence standpoint, the right thing to do for our environment, so less is going out to the Point Loma outfall, and probably most important, it gives us certainty.
Certainty comes in the form of a drought-proof water supply. The deal would modify the Point Loma discharge permit so a waiver is no longer needed. In exchange, the city agrees to create 50 million gallons a day of potable water by 2023, 83 million gallons a day by 2035. Ann Sasaki says that would be done by diverting sewage before it reaches the plant.
It's drains from your home to treatment, to treatment, to treatment, treatment, put into a reservoir, treated again and again and again, and then distributed to your homes.
The idea gained a foothold back in 2010 when the city agreed to do a water recycling study. That was one condition for the last 5-year waiver from the EPA. San Diego waterkeeper Matt O'Malley says the study found that the diversion plan could work. He says the drought added the exclamation point.
People realize how serious this is. I mean, with climate change coming about, we're going to see longer droughts, more frequent droughts. So we need a water source, and there are very few options out there.
O'Malley says the city is committing to recycling 83 million gallons of water a day, but he thinks they'll do more once they see how well it works. Meanwhile, he says the environmental community will remain vigilant, making sure the city keeps its promises.
It's important for people to know that in this agreement, we give up no rights to enforce the Clean Water Act. If there's any degradation of the environment, we have the right to enforce, and we will do that if we need to.
Federal officials have been briefed, and Regional Administrator Jared Blumenfeld says the plan could be good for the city and the ocean.
We want to give the city the regulatory flexibility to come up with a plan where they can get more water in this time of drought. That's pretty important. So anything that isn't going to that facility that can be shaved off and used as either gray water or even drinking water is something that we're going to look favorably towards.
But before the EPA can make a decision, the San Diego City Council has to approve the idea. That vote will happen on Tuesday. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.